Welcome to the April 8th, 2026 study session of the Livonia City Council. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by the Honorable Brandon McCullough.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting sets the agenda for the 2039th regular meeting, which is a voting meeting that will take place on Monday, April 20th, where tonight's items will be officially voted on. We have all 7 council members here tonight. We will start with audience communication. For anything you would like to speak about that is not on tonight's agenda, you will have 3 minutes. Please direct all comments to me.
Good evening, Kathleen McIntyre, Fairway Street, Livonia, Michigan. President Reed, honorable members of council. Just wanted to address 2 things that were mentioned in the last meeting. First of all, after the passage of the FTA Act in 2015, municipalities lost their ability to charge more than $1,000 for anything on a cell tower, and also lost their ability to regulate those things. So the discussion about the city should do more, we should have more control, we should extract more fees, that's preempted by the federal government. And it was buried in something called the Middle Class Tax Relief and Job Creation Act of 2012. That's where it first got going. And so you can imagine a lot of municipalities weren't paying attention to something named that, looking for limitations on cell tower fees and lack that they could no longer regulate. The other thing to address is our golf courses. Those are special funds, as many of you know. They're designed to operate on a break-even basis. We contract with TJW Enterprises to run those courses. They do an exceptionally good job with the money they have. And so, when bridges get rebuilt and things are addressed, cart paths, those are because they have their priorities list every year and they know what needs to be done with the golf courses. And they do an excellent job working with our city to prioritize the repairs and, again, to do it within the funds that are available. So thanks. And we're lucky to have them running our courses. Thanks.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 3
Kane,
minutes.
Coventry Gardens. I know everybody's a hero. And we actually looked at our cell towers in 2012 and made that adjustment, by the way. All right. Unbelievable. I wanted to address the Housing Commission meeting. I attended the Housing Commission meeting, and this meeting was back to normal. It's not like the dog and pony show that you saw, Carrie. There was two officers at that meeting. And last council meeting, I think there was 3 officers here. We have an officer here at City Hall all day and all night. I've been to 4 other city halls and there's no officer there. So I think we need to start thinking about how we spend our money and how we staff. Okay, back to the Housing Commission. 3 seniors were in attendance, not a single resident. There was an agenda, thanks to Lynn Mills, who mentioned, she came before you and said, hey, and so now there's an agenda. And it was posted, again, because a citizen came forward to push you forward. It happened. All right. The meeting was posted on the bulletin board, which is Open Meetings Act. You got to post it. Unfortunately, the commons area is still locked out. The residents cannot use their commons area. It's locked. And I can't believe you sit here and you're okay with that. All right. So they talked about financials. All the numbers are shown. There is a large flat screen right behind the president. It was not turned on. All of those numbers could have been up there for all of us to see, and that just wasn't the case. There was a lot of things talked about. There was nothing other than audience communication. They never went back to the citizens, never went back to any questions at all. So I think that whole process really, really, really needs to be addressed. Okay, it's come to my attention that we now have white buckets catching water at the new Senior Wellness Center. Now, we know they've been at the library forever. We know they're on the track at the rec center. We know they're at the old senior center. So here's what I did. I made a commemorative little I Love Livonia white bucket. So I'm going to offer these on my YouTube channel for people who come to Livonia and they want a souvenir, because we now have these in all our municipal buildings. I can't wait to see them in the new police station. Thank you very much.
Anything else from the audience? Anything from council? Ms. Persicone?
Thank you, Madam President. I do want to address some of the issues that were just raised regarding the Livonia Housing Commission. Just so our residents are aware, the meeting agendas are posted online a week before every meeting. I was the vice president of the Housing Commission. There are two websites, and I think people often go to the wrong website, but if you are going to the correct website of the Livonia Housing Commission, the agendas are posted. They are also posted in every common room of all of the senior center facilities, so McNamara, Newburgh, and Silver Village all get posted in the commons rooms, and there are key fobs now that the residents only have for the common areas because they are privately owned. They are private buildings for the residents. These are not common rooms that are open to the public, which is what created the issue of having to put key fobs there in the first place. Members of the public were entering the common areas where our seniors are supposed to feel safe, and they were being harassed by members of the public in there, and we got many complaints from residents that they felt unsafe. So that's why we have key fobs there. Our seniors everyone has a key fob, and they can enter those rooms and have access to all the amenities that are provided there. So I just want to make sure that the statements that are out there about the agendas not being posted and about seniors being locked out, they're just categorically false. So that is all I wanted to add. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Anything else from council?
Madam Chair.
Ms. Tisch?
Thank you. Also, I just wanted to point out, we do have reserve officers here at City Hall pretty much all the time. Safety is paramount. In this day and age, we need to have our safety officers here to protect not only the elected officials, the residents, any visitors to City Hall. There have been many times where discussions have become heated or rooms have become too crowded, and our reserve officers do a great job making sure that everyone is safe, everyone is calm, and things remain the way they need to remain. When I served on ZBA, there was more than a few times where reserve officers made sure that we got to our cars safely. Being a woman walking out to an open parking lot in the dark, 11 o'clock at night, kindly taking me to my car. I appreciated that. So to say that we don't need to staff that, I think is just ridiculous. So I appreciate the reserve officers, and I want to thank them for keeping us safe. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Anything down here? All right, and I will note that we have new data for item 1. All right, jumping into the agenda. Item number 1 is an external request. This is a request to waive the city's noise ordinance. This comes from Wafi Barshini. This is a festival chairperson for the Basilica of St. Mary Antiochian Orthodox Church, and it's in order to host a festival with live music in the rear parking lot at 18100 Merriman Road on Friday, August 14th, 2026 from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., Saturday, August 15th, 2026 from 12 p.m. to 11:59 p.m., and Sunday, August 16th, 2026 from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Wafi Barshini, and I'm here requesting City Council to waive the city noise ordinance for the Church of St. Mary, 18100 Merriman Road, Livonia.
Can you tell us a little bit about your event?
We do this event every year. It's a celebration of the Dormition. And we do this to generate a little bit of money to update things in the church and keep up with the maintenance and get the community together. And it's basically a family event.
Okay, thank you. Council, Ms. Persicone?
Thank you. I'd like to offer an approving on this one on consent, and I would add, I know that we've had discussions about trying to have a uniform time for these types of festivals in the city. We talked about this in a committee meeting recently as well, and it's my understanding that the Spree events end at 11 p.m., and we just approved the St. Rafka Festival to end at 11 p.m. on Saturday as well. So I would be offering and approving on consent with that correction, or I don't know if that can go on consent if there's going to be an amendment. Is that?
Yeah, we can.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I would just offer an approving on consent with the only correction being that the time on Saturday, August 15th, 2026, go from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. For the live music.
Okay. Anything else from council? Mr. McCullough?
Robin, would you, or Madam, or Councilwoman Persicone, would you mind if we just added a stipulation to ensure that our decibel, the same things we had in place over the years would still stay true on this?
Yeah, absolutely. The language that we used recently, I believe it was in the St. Refka one, so I would just say whatever language that we had in the St. Refka waiver ordinance be applied in this one, and that just pertains to the decibels of the music, which I know that the Basilica is familiar with respect to the decibel.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, I would amend the motion.
Awesome, thank you.
Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? Okay. Oh, good evening. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Yes, Denise Michael, Livonia. I've brought up these comments before about conflict of interests, and I appreciated when President Reed that when there were things about the spree that you recused yourself from voting. And I think we might have a situation tonight that that should happen. So I'm just going to put it out there that if somebody's a member of an organization or church, that they should recuse themselves from that vote. Thank you.
Ms. Bozinski?
I won't say anything.
Okay. Anything else from council? Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't see you get up. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
President Reed, Steve Johnson from Sunset Street, and some of the neighbors of St. Mary's Festival have an issue with not only the volume of the music, but also the length of time of the music. You're offering now to have it end at 11 o'clock, which St. Rafka is doing, but on Saturday it starts at noon. So this is 11 hours of loud music just on Saturday alone. Totally, you're looking at about 28 hours of music over 3 days. So I would ask, before it gets to the regular meeting, to also look at the length of hours per day on the 3 days. That would go a long way. The music is so loud, and I really appreciate Councilmember McCullough and having decibel limits on it, but I think we've talked about in committee that the decibel readers themselves aren't accurate if they're not reading the low bass sound. So if we have faulty equipment to begin with, then I think that maybe between now and then, if we can look into getting some better equipment, there are better decibel readers that we can get that will detect that lower level, because that's what's really bothersome, and that's what's invading our homes, the neighbors, over 20-some hours over 3 days. So thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the audience? Council? Oh, okay. This will be, did you want to say something? Sure.
Music usually doesn't start till about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Okay. Thank you.
Live music. Plus, we do have decibel. These
Oh.
are a great decibel meter. Okay, it will read. You allow us 90 decibel. That sounds like a vacuum. We roll sandwiches in the tent. We don't even hear the music. And we avoid bringing the tablet, the drum, just to, we want our neighbor to be happy. And we don't want no problem. We want to continue generating that money to keep with the maintenance of the church. This is our goal and if you want to check that decibel, we hire a company to do the decibel. And we do hire Livonia police to make sure everything, going in the right direction, because we don't want no problems. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. This will be on the consent agenda on April 20th, 2026. Thank you. Okay. Okay, moving on to item number 2. This is a request for proclamation to designate May as ASL Awareness Month. This comes from resident Marcia Miller, and it's to raise awareness and honor those affected by the disease. Ms. Buzinski?
I'd just like to offer an approving on consent. Obviously, ALS is a devastating medical diagnosis for those who receive it and their family members. So I think it's, nice to just show support as a city and a city council body.
Okay, thank you. Anything from the audience? Okay, item number 2 will be on the consent agenda on April 20th, 2026. Moving on to the Planning Commission, item number 3, this is a waiver petition 2026-02-02-06 submitted by Capital Grill Holdings Incorporated, requesting waiver use approval to operate a Class C liquor license, which is the sale of beer, wine, and spirits for consumption on the premises, and an SDM liquor license, which is sale of packaged beer and wine for consumption off the premises, in connection with the full-service restaurant Capital Grill at 17117 North Laurel Park Drive, located on the north side of 6 Mile Road between North Laurel Park Drive and the I-275 Expressway in the southeast quarter of Section 7. Mr. Tormina?
Thank you. Just want to point out at the onset that I was informed by the attorney representing Capital Grill that he had to leave town unexpectedly this evening, and he is not able to make it tonight, but he will be at the regular meeting. So I'll proceed with some background if you'd like, and then if you have questions related to the petition, and maybe that can wait until the regular voting meeting. Your explanation, the description of the petition pretty much explains everything. These are 2 license requests. One is the SDM, which is the sale of packaged beer and wine products for consumption off the premises, and then the Class C license allows the Capital Grill to serve and sell alcoholic products for consumption on the premises at the restaurant. The restaurant's expected to open in the next month or 2. There are 2 special requirements that apply that will require your waiver at the regular meeting. One is the separation requirement from other licensed establishments, and also, it applies both to the SDM and the Class C. Since we granted the same licenses to Cooper's Hawk, and Cooper's Hawk sits right next to Capital Grill, the ordinance requires a further separation between licensed businesses. So at the regular, you'll have to agree to the separation requirement, to waive the separation requirement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Council? Mr. McCullough?
Vice President, no, you go. You were going for it. No, I was just going to say, I'll let you make the motion. Mr. Tormina, this is another great project in our city. Anybody that hasn't been to Cooper's Hawk, it's just, remember what it looked like. I don't care. Anybody wants to debate me. It could be like that meme where there's a guy sitting in a park. That was a nasty, blighted area of just rock, right? There's like I think spoils from the expressway. And now we've got 2 world-class restaurants. And so that is something that is awesome. And we appreciate it. So that was just my thunder speech.
Mr. Brockway?
I'd like to offer an approving on the regular.
On the regular?
Yeah, just the.
Yep.
They're not.
Ms. McDonald?
Yeah, I just have a couple questions for Mr. Termino. I just wondered, and this is just for the future, of course, how many Class C license do we have available in the city for businesses or new restaurants coming in?
That is a trick question.
Oh.
And it would require a pretty lengthy answer. The bottom line is there is a quota system in place that by the Michigan Liquor Control Commission. However, now the laws allow for the intra-county transfer of these licenses. So a license can be moved from another municipality within Wayne County into Livonia, and it does not count against the quota. So we have far exceeded that quota. In fact, there's no maximum limit technically to the number of Class C licenses that can operate within the city.
Okay, all right, thank you. And I have one more question. The SDM license, I know it's been a little bit of a controversy, well, in some areas. And I was just wondering, are there any limits that a council can place as the number of businesses that will be available for that, or it's something we can't do.
So the quota license, the number of SDM licenses has increased dramatically. In fact, the MLCC issues SDM licenses without even checking with the municipality now. When we learn that a new SDM license has been issued, we have to contact the applicant and let them know that the zoning approval is required. There's two separate issues here. There's the license, which is issued by the state, and then the zoning approval, which happens through the municipality. And yes, you have at your discretion whether or not, the number and the distribution of these licenses throughout the community. So, and that is part of the zoning process. It's not something that the city can really interfere with in terms of how the state determines to issue those licenses. We control it only through our zoning regulations.
Okay. Sounds complicated. So, all right, thank you.
Yep. Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? Okay, this will be on the regular agenda on April 20th, 2026. Moving on to item number 4, a waiver petition. This is petition 2026-02-02-09 submitted by C3 Michigan LLC on behalf of the Axe Parlor, requesting waiver use approval to operate a Class C liquor license, which is the sale of beer, wine, and spirits for consumption on the premises at 15970 Middlebelt Road, located on the east side of Middlebelt Road between Sunnydale Street and Terrence Avenue in the southwest quarter of Section 13. You can come up. Good evening.
Hi,
Name and address for the record, please.
Siobhan Rogers. I actually live in Ann Arbor, but our business is here in Livonia.
Did you or Mr. Termina want to talk
I'll
about
provide
this?
some quick background on this, if you don't mind. So Siobhan is somebody who the Planning Commission and council worked with back in 2023 when the Axe Parlor was opened at Livonia Plaza Shopping Center. Siobhan is now wishing to relocate her business to a new building. This one is on Middlebelt Road. If everyone knows where Banks Vacuum is located, this is the space immediately adjacent to that, owned by the same owner, Ken Banks. And this was formerly occupied by Anytime Fitness. So the request here is not for the actual use of the building for the recreational purposes. It's for the sale of alcoholic beverages. Again, this would be a Class C license. In this case, I believe only canned alcoholic beverages are served. This does also require waiving the separation requirement. In this case, we have Steve's Family Dining, which operates about 460 feet away from the site. So it's within that 1,000-foot requirement. And we have a separate requirement that no licensed establishment can be within 400 feet of a church or school building. In this case, Detroit Korean Seventh-day Adventist Church is right across the street. It's within 400 feet of the shopping center. So that, too, will have to be waived. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McCullough?
Thank you, Madam President. Through the chair to Mr. Termina, when you guys were going through this, was there any issues from any of the surrounding neighbors?
I'll let Ms. Rogers answer that. I believe there was some people that did show up, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was one from across the street who was more concerned about my turf that I'd taken out that was out back that has been removed. And I think she was worried about parking. But I mean, we don't have more than, 5 groups at a time in a given hour, so.
No, thank you. A lot of times if it was one of those things where you had like, we didn't see much in the packet with anybody having dissent. Giving some of my new council members that were not on council at the time, we debated this because I think I brought up the fact that you're drinking and throwing axes. It sounds like a party, and I've been to your establishment and it's world class. And for that, you're a good steward of the community. I don't see any issue. I'd be happy to offer an approving on consent.
Thank you.
Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? There's someone behind you if you just want to take a step.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Just one thing. That was
Name and address, please.
Oh,
for the
Steve
record.
King, Coventry Gardens. That was the Anytime Fitness that went out of business there, and unfortunately, it was the best Anytime Fitness, but they didn't pay their bills. But the parking lot is that going to be addressed? The parking lot. You have a drain that has collapsed, and that's been a really, really bad So, all right, thanks.
Thank you. Anything else from the audience? Did you say on consent? Did you offer? Oh, you did. Okay. Yep. It's very cool. Okay. Did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, can I ask a question about the parking lot? So is that something that I can also request be waived, the requirement for the parking lot adjustments? I mean, I'm not the building owner, right? I'm just asking to move my liquor license, so I'm not sure if that's a factor or not.
Mr. Torvina.
Well, that's up to council.
Are
But
you asking, can you do it right now?
No, I'm just in general for the
Oh.
vote.
if I may, the planning commission resolution does include a condition that requires that the parking lot be repaired, resealed, and restriped. What we typically do in these cases, if the applicant is unable to, or the owner is unable to accomplish those improvements by the time they want to open, they'll have to bond for those. And the inspection department will typically give them a certain length of time before they're required to complete those improvements. If you wanted to eliminate that, I wouldn't recommend it. These are the ways that the city gets deficiencies corrected. We can work with the applicant and with the owner, again, to maybe bond for it or to do it in phases. So if you would like to add that language to the condition, we're happy to work with them on some type of plan to get this accomplished over time.
Okay. Mr. McCullough.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through the chair to Mr. Tormina and the petitioner. Have you talked to the building owner? I mean, honestly, I was kind of studying it. That lot, especially you as a business owner, I would highly recommend getting it done just because, I know Mr. King did bring up that's going to help your stormwater. I know where you're coming from. I know you're kind of in a hard spot because you don't own the building. However, I feel that I want to stick with this. I mean, do you have any indication from the building owner? I mean, you're coming in as a tenant. I would assume that they would want to. I mean, and we're talking, Mr. Tormina, are we talking seal coat? We're not talking a full. Is it? It's not like. It's a seal coat seal and fixing that one drain, or is this a full requirement to update storm plans?
It's not. It doesn't require the replacement of
Okay.
the parking at all. I think these are just repairs as it affects.
Okay, so I will tell you that is not as scary. Now, if you had to go through the process again for full site plan, I would feel a little bit more bad. But seal coating and minor repairs that are listed in there should not be that much to that building owner, and something that, in my opinion, as you as a business owner, should want done. I don't want to not allow it. I mean, the bond language gives them a little bit of flexibility, but I would not support not fixing the lot.
Well, the only thing I see wrong with the lot is the manhole cover, which he has a cone on right now. The rest of it, I mean, I took pictures tonight. I mean, the parking lot is striped. I haven't had anyone, complain about the parking. The only thing I see is the manhole cover.
I'll tell you this, just from doing this type of line of work, that area to have it seal coated and striped is probably like $3,000. And having that manhole fixed is probably $2,000, $2,500. It's not substantial, and it pretties it up. Honestly, it really does. Is there a way that you could get an answer before next week with the regular, or
2
couple
weeks,
weeks?
the 20th.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been able to get in touch with him, but I guess I just have an issue with the fact that Anytime Fitness was there, and it was like that. And now I'm just trying to move my liquor license, and I have this condition on here that I have no control over. I'm not the building owner.
I know. And with the Anytime Fitness, I don't know when that came in before us. That was I hate punning it, but us at the council to do this. If it's cool, I'd like to amend my motion just to put it on the regular and include that bond language, which doesn't put a requirement specifically on it. It gives us a little bit of flexibility in that time frame, if it's possible before next meeting, to talk to the building owner and just see and report back to us. we want to see you succeed, truthfully.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, what if he says he can't do it? I mean,
guess
then I
we'll-
don't get my waiver?
well, there would be future discussion at the next meeting on it. I just want to keep it open on it. I think that's something that you would want done. And if you can come back with some information, at least council can be able to digest it and make an educated vote on it.
Ms. Dash, did you want to?
No, actually, what I was going to ask Mr. McCullough is if we could put it on the regular so we could get answers. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. McDonald?
Yeah, I have a question. Through the chair, Mr. Termino, can you maybe explain to council how this bonding process works, and also for the petitioner, just so we all could have some clarification on what it means and potential costs involved? Are they,
So that's usually, it's determined by the inspection department, and the method of bonding could be, there's, cash bonds, surety bonds can be posted, or letters of credit oftentimes are used in lieu of cash bonds. And the amount of work being done, that's usually estimated by either the applicant or the inspection department when they see a number of items that are still need to be addressed prior to the store opening. Then they'll have those bonds posted and still issue the temporary certificate of occupancy. So it doesn't delay the owner, her ability to open up. It just gives us some insurance that the project or the improvements will be undertaken within a reasonable time frame. And the inspection department sets that time frame. And as I indicated, we could work with the applicant, and if there's 2 or 3 different areas and one's more important than the other, then we can require that at a certain date and then have the others addressed at a later date. So, it's something that we'd work out with the inspection department and the owner.
okay, what if she can't get a hold of the owner?
We can get a hold of them.
Okay, that would be helpful.
We have our ways.
That would be helpful. All right, thank you.
007 over there.
Okay, anything else from council? Okay, this is going to be on the regular agenda
Okay, thank you.
on April 20th. Okay, item number 5, this is a waiver petition, petition 2026-03-02-10, submitted by Wade Shows Incorporated, requesting waiver use approval to conduct a carnival in the parking lot of the former Sears department store, sponsored by the Livonia AM Rotary Club, consisting of amusement rides, games, and food concessions from May 18th, 2026 through June 1st, 2026 on the property at 29500 7 Mile Road, located at the northwest corner of 7 Mile and Middle Belt Roads in the southeast quarter of Section 2. Good evening, sir.
Hi, Patrick Zucal, 30855 Rayburn Street. I'm here to represent Livonia AM Rotary.
Okay, thanks for being here. Mr. Termina, did you want to add anything?
I was just looking back. This event has been occurring at this location since 1999. There's been some years where they didn't hold the event, but it's been quite a while. This is, everything that they're proposing is identical to the carnivals that they've held at the last, I think, 10 years in terms of the location, the size. The only thing that is changing are the dates. And in this case, it's May 18th through June 1st, I believe. And then Monday, June 1st is when the carnival would be closed and moved to its next location, which many of us know where that is.
It's not the spree. He goes out to,
He goes to
Yeah.
one more location,
Yeah.
that's true.
Council?
Madam President,
Ms. Persicone?
I'd like to offer an approving on consent for this. It's a lovely event. I know it raises a lot of money, and it goes right back into the community, so thank you for doing it. The PM Club is jealous we don't get to do that, so thank you very much
No, thank
for
you.
everything you do for that.
Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Good evening, Jerry Karasinski, 19488 Bainbridge Avenue. We love having this show at the corner. It keeps the neighborhood hopping for a while. But I did want to bring up one thing that happened, I think, either last year or the year before. I'm a member of St. Priscilla Church. Our church is adjacent to the mall property, and we had a carnival worker who ended up on our church property injured. So I don't know if the carnival is aware of the proper medical facilities that are available in the area. One of our members of our church had to call EMS, the Livonia Fire Department to get them attended to. But if that could be something that gets communicated to Wade shows, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I could pass that on. I haven't heard of that before, but I'll send that over to Joanna.
Thank you. Anything else, audience council? All right, this will be on the consent agenda on April 20th, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Item number 6, this is a site plan petition 2025-12-08-10 submitted by Charlie Bazzi on behalf of 363005 Mile Investment LLC requesting site plan approval to demolish the existing gas station and fuel pumps at 363005 Mile Road and construct a new gas station, convenience store, and fuel pumps located the northeast corner of Levan Road and 5 Mile Road in the southeast quarter of Section 17. Mr. Tormina?
So this gas station was originally built in 1960. It was expanded in 1986. It contains an existing building with service bays. That building is about 2,000 square feet. Currently, the zoning is C2 general business. The petitioner proposes leveling everything, gas pumps, building, et cetera, and rebuilding the site. And the new gas station building would be larger. It would be 3,640 square feet. It would be pushed to the southeast corner of the property. Building height is about 16.3 feet. The new gas tanks would be provided on the west side of the site. This would be a single tank, buried tank, 22,000. It's a split tank, so it includes all the different grades of fuel. They actually dropped one of the fuel pumps, so they have a new configuration. It's what we refer to as the dive-in configuration for the pumps. In this case, they would be between the building and 5 Mile Road. There would be 4 pumps equipped to handle 8 vehicles. That canopy would be constructed above those, obviously, but the canopy also extends all the way to the front of the building, so it's a T-shaped canopy. Height of the canopy is 17 feet. Our limit is 18 feet, so it complies in that respect. This would get rid of the service bays and everything would be a C-store, so it would include a small takeout restaurant, cashier counter, retail area, office, as well as restrooms. This plan shows 13 parking spaces. There's the 13th space is shown here in the southeast corner of the property. Looking at that, we don't believe that space is needed. Some additional landscaping can be provided in this area where they're showing that parking space, and we would recommend a slight modification to the plan. The building itself is a combination of brick, ACM, which is aluminum composite material. These are the panels, so the white areas of the building on the upper portion of the building, that's actually an aluminum or a composite material. It's very durable. The brick is the darker shade of gray that you see on this plan, and then along the base of the building, the white, that is a block material, split face block in this case. We're recommending that brick be extended all the way across to the east side of the building. In this case, they're showing the ACM panels on this right-hand side. This is a side that faces 5 Mile. I'll show you some other renderings. There's a fully detailed landscape plan that was submitted with the application. One of the nice features here is they're providing additional landscaping along the east side of the property, something that's not there now. These driveways, they're excessively wide today, and those are going to be narrowed to comply with the ordinance. There might need to be some minor adjustments to some of the dimensions of these driveways, but overall, this is an improvement in terms of the driveway widths. It doesn't reduce the number of driveway access points. There's still 2 on 5 Mile and 2 on Levan, as you can see from this drawing, but it does provide some additional landscaping along the frontage of both roads. New dumpster enclosure is shown here in the northwest corner of the property. The 2 spaces adjacent to that would provide EV charging stations, and all new lighting would be provided on the site. One thing we did note is these renderings do depict some LED band lighting along the top of the building. That's something that we'd like also to have eliminated from the plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Did you want to add anything to that?
Michael Baidoun. No, I think Mr. Tromino did a great job. And as far as the red bands on the top, I did actually say those are not going to be in there.
Okay,
Just
great.
the rendering, they just like to make it fancy, and they added up that one, but it's not going to be there.
Great, thank you. Council? Mr. McCullough? Ms. Persicone?
I'm happy to offer an approving on consent for this. I think this is a huge improvement to the existing gas station, so thank you very much for investing in that corner. This is going to be a really nice improvement there. And I know across the street, there's another newer gas station, so it's really going to improve the area and the aesthetics overall of the 5 and Levant corner.
Because
So
right
thank
now,
you.
honestly, right now it does look like a junkyard.
It's,
When I
Hey,
was
that
given-
is my neighborhood. And all last winter, there was a van that didn't have a door that literally had snow going in it for the entire winter. The entire winter. So I'm so happy that it's not going to be there anymore.
When I actually got the address from the owner, I went to look at it, and I had to double check the address and to see if it is actually in the city of Livonia.
Well, he's busy. He has a lot of
I
business,
understand.
but it takes up all the parking and, yeah.
Then I thought the use is wrong. I thought we are actually in industrial zone. I said, maybe for the benefit of the doubt, let me look at it. Then it turned out to be C2, yes, and junkyards are not allowed in C2. That's
We appreciate it. There's someone behind you from the audience that would like to make a comment. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record,
Yeah,
please.
Steve Kane, Coventry Gardens. I was just curious, I thought the pumps were just recently replaced, and if the pumps are going to stay. And secondly, how is this in size? This reminds me of Sheets, quite honestly, and I'm wondering how it compares in size. And thirdly, talking about that mechanic, he is a very, well, they love that mechanic there. It's hard to find people that can work on your cars, especially individuals. And I'm wondering if anybody's going to do any help having him relocate somewhere else in the city, if that's possible. Because I see on social media, everybody's crying the blues. Hey, where am I going to take my car now? So, all right, that's it.
Thank you. Anything else from the audience? All right. This will be on the consent agenda on April 20th, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to civil service. Item number 7. This is a request to establish a new classification for the position of Assistant Library Director. Ms. Leibel, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Janine Leibel on behalf of Civil Service. It's good to see you all tonight. We're asking for a change in the name of a classification. We are looking to fill the position that was left empty by Lindsay Fricky, who is our current library director. She had held this position previously when it was called Branch Librarian for Operations. We would like to switch that over to a name that better aligns the duties and better aligns the department with the structure that we have going across the city with an assistant, pardon me, let me make sure I have this correct, an assistant library director. It's not an addition of people, it's just renaming the title.
Okay, thank you. Council?
Madam Chair?
Ms. Tashnik?
Thank you. Good evening, Ms. Leibel. Question for you quickly. Is there any budgetary impact to this?
There's no budgetary impact at all.
Okay, so we're just really renaming so it fits the description, the job description better.
We are just renaming the position, that is all.
Excellent. I would be happy to offer an approving on consent then. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Mr. Brockway?
Just had a question. With the description of the work, it does list it as it's a newly established role, but you're saying that it's not a newly established role? Because the wording here says newly established as opposed to, it doesn't say a renaming, it just says a new classification, which I guess could be naming, but if you could clarify.
It is renaming the classification. The position already existed. Lindsay held it previously. I'm sorry, Patrick, Mr. Brockway, do you mind repeating your question for me? I'm sorry.
Sure. Oh, no, in the packet, it says the description of the work, the Assistant Library Director is a newly established role that serves as the library director's primary second in command.
I would say that calling it the assistant director is newly established, but when Lindsay was hired in the branch librarian position, it was as the, in the same capacity, I would say. Just checking.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I phoned my friend Lindsay behind me.
Okay, Ms. McDonald?
All right. And we only have one branch librarian position currently?
I would say that I don't know if we only have one branch librarian position currently. We currently have one branch librarian overseeing operations, and it's currently a vacant position.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else from Ms. Budzinski?
Just as a matter of clarification, it doesn't Sandberg, this isn't replacing Sandberg as the branch, as having a branch librarian director?
This doesn't change any of the classifications or any of the positions that are currently filled. This only changes the vacant position that Lindsay used to hold.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Anything else from council? Okay, audience, name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Steve Kane, Coventry Gardens. This is how you tighten your belt, Martha. It says a new classification. I talked to folks that work in the library. They said, yeah, they're hiring a new director, a new position, assistant director. So I don't know, you want to play word semantics, whatever it is. How many police officers could you hire with this salary? Let's talk about how this all went down. Last year, went before council, $30,000 to do an executive search for a new director. Okay, a lot of pushback. So they pulled it away, came back just under the threshold where council would have oversight. So I don't know, it was like, whatever, 20,000, 25,000. They do an executive search, 19 people apply. They interview 2. Our current director didn't even apply for the job the first time around. So you do an executive search, another waste of money. You hire from within, which was suggested by everybody last year. Why aren't you got all these great candidates? And so now you're doing something like this. We need more boots on the ground, more police officers on the front line. So there are non-critical positions, so many in this city. So let's just rethink everything, every penny. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the audience? There's someone behind you, or a couple people. Good evening. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Donna Wilbanks, Oakley Street in Kimberly Oaks. I also had the same question that Mr. Brockway did. They say that it's a new position. And why do we need that position? I mean, you're saying that you're trying to save money, and this is a $90,000 for an assistant library director? That seems like an awful lot of money. And if we don't have the position right now, why do we need it? They've been operating the library without it. Those are my concerns.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Yep, Jerry Karasinski, 19488 Bainbridge Avenue. I'm actually in support of this new position. I wonder if a better title might be deputy director, but that's just also word semantics. We do have a millage that supports our libraries. We have a new director who is trying to set a direction, and I totally support that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please. You have 2 minutes.
Denise Micah, Livonia. I just want to say that this package was confusing because, like previous people said about establishing a new position, and in that line they could have said which replaces the old position of whatever. Also in the packet, there's where it says resolved, 26-51 says that Lindsay Frick is the interim library director dated March 16, 2026, and actually she was hired in January. And in fact, the Library Commission approved her on the January 21st, their meeting. So why isn't she called the library director now in the official paperwork? So I don't know. So I think, there's a little cleanup in the paperwork or something because it's confusing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the audience? Ms. Budzinski?
I'll state it generally, although if Ms. Leibel, through the chair, would like to correct me if I'm mistaken. Our library operates solely on a mill, so all of the positions staffing that are being paid for out of the library millage, not from the general fund, so it couldn't be used to be diverted for public safety or another department.
Mr. Brockway?
So right now, do we have it approving on consent? I would ask if you'd be willing to change it to approving on the regular, just so we can get an updated, if we'd be willing to update the memorandum that went out, because it does state that it's a newly established role, and that is confusing. If we're going to approve on something and then reflect in the record, it should reflect that it is a change in title, that, maybe spell it out just a little bit more clearly so that when people look at this in a year from now, it clearly establishes that we didn't add something new, but rather replaced it and renamed it. if the, well,
Let's put it on the regular.
Ms. McDonald?
Yeah, and, thank you, Chair. Ms. Leibel, could we correct the information to indicate that she is the library director?
Sure, we can correct that.
Yeah, I mean,
believe
because
that
it is
possi-
kind of
I'm sorry.
confusing, so,
The word interim was confusing?
Mm-hmm.
Got it, we can fix that.
please, thank you.
Anything else from council? Okay, this will be on the regular agenda on April 20th, 2026. Item number 8, this is a request for an additional benefit for non-represented City of Livonia employees, non-appointed department heads, and appointed department heads for the period of December 1st, 2025 through November 30th, 2028. Ms. Leibel.
Hello, everyone. I'm Janine Leibel on behalf of Civil Service, and I'd like to request your permission to extend a benefit to our non-represented employees and non-appointed department heads. We currently have a clothing allowance or a voucher that is for $100, and we, through our union negotiations, it was negotiated up to $125, and we'd like to extend that to the rest of our employees. I'm wearing one of the logo gear, one of the pieces of apparel tonight to show you. I think it provides a great sense of cohesion to the city. It's a nice way for employees to be able to show a little personality while also honoring the city.
Thank you. Mr. Brockway?
I'd like to offer an approving on consent.
Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? Okay, item number 8 will be on the consent agenda on April 20th, 2026.
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, moving on to the Department of Emergency Preparedness. Item number 9, request for an adoption of a resolution approving the Wayne County hazard mitigation as approved by the Federal Emergency Management Agency on February 20th, 2026 for a period of 5 years in order to receive funds made available through certain mitigation grant programs pursuant to the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 44, Chapter 1, Subchapter D, Part 201, Section 201.6.C.5, which has been approved for implementation from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA. Mr. Khan, did you make that title?
I did not, I'm sorry.
It feels like something you would do.
It does, I apologize. Madam President, members of council, it's good to be here this evening. This is just asking for your authorization to adopt the Wayne County Hazardous Mitigation Plan. This is a adoption of the 2020 plan. Every 5 years we have to update this plan itself. It'll become then the Livonia Hazardous Mitigation Plan. This is just done through a collaborative effort through Homeland Security funds, through all the municipalities in Wayne County. It does not include Detroit. Detroit stands alone on their own in it's called the UASI region itself. So this allows us basically, we've identified any risks and vulnerabilities within Wayne County and the city itself. Should any hazardous mitigation grants or any other type of funding opportunities, either pre or post disaster declaration were to come up, having this in play would allow us to take advantage of those possible opportunities. It's a state and federal thing, for lack of a better term, that we need to follow, and we make sure that we do follow.
Okay, thank you. Council? Ms. McDonald?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was curious, I went through the packet, and the only thing that is listed actually as the City of Livonia's document is the cover sheet. Is this something that you're creating now? Because I have the Wayne County information.
It's the packet should have been, you should have the packet itself. If not, I can get you the packet. It's 404 pages. Within that, it discusses the county itself, and then we narrow it down to each individual municipality within there. That title page will basically go on top of that to identify that as the Livonia Hazardous Mitigation Plan.
It was there.
It was there?
Yeah. It was 400 pages.
Takes a
Yeah.
long
It's
time
a
to
second.
download.
I read every word.
How was it?
It was amazing. I read all
Alrighty, well,
400.
I guess I missed it then. Nope.
Yeah.
I just saw the Wayne County part, and I was going through and reading that, so.
Mr. McCullough?
Do we have a motion?
Not yet.
I'll be happy to offer a motion on consent, and I want to congratulate you for the honor that you're a local hero with the
for
award.
The article. Well,
Honestly.
thank you. It was a great opportunity to
Yeah.
to showcase the city and
Absolutely.
and everything that we have to
No,
do.
we appreciate you and
Well, appreciate
wanted to
that.
give
Thank
you
you.
kudos.
Thank you.
Even if you made the council president read that, that's still fine.
Thank you.
Mr. McCullough, was that an approving? You didn't say approving or denying.
Approving on consent.
There you go.
Okay. Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? Great, this will be on the consent agenda on April 20th, 2026.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Parks and Rec, item number 10, this is award of bid and request for budget amendment for bridge repairs at Idlewild Golf Course from the unexpended 509 Golf Course capital account. Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening, Madam President, Council. Douglas Ware, the Golf Course Superintendent for the City of Livonia. We're looking to award a bid contract of $40,900 to repair 3 bridges at Idlewild. They're on our 11th, 15th, and 16th holes. They've been there for over 30 years, held up pretty well considering their wood structures. So pretty impressed, and we're happy to have the same company that installed them originally win the low bid to do the repairs on them. So the same people who did them originally is going to be doing them again, so we should expect the same level of weathering, I guess you could say. So,
Okay, thank you. Council? Ms. Persicone?
I'm happy to offer an approving on consent.
Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? Great, item number 10 will be on the consent agenda on April 20th, 2026.
thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Next up is DPW, item number 11. It's award of bid for the replacement of the HVAC and boiler system at Sandburg Library from budgeted funds. Good evening, Mr. Moore.
Evening, Council. Doug Moore with DPW. This project was bid on Mitten on January 20th. Mandatory pre-bid meeting was held at the library on February 4th with 18 companies attending the meeting. Bids were submitted and opened on February 17th with 5 companies submitting bids. Guardian Environment of Livonia was the low bidder at $121,922. The boiler and the HVAC unit, the ancillary control systems, will be replaced with this project. The boiler will be done as soon as it's shut down for the spring. The HVAC unit will be done later towards fall when it is not needed. Ancillary systems consist of new electric controls, plumbing, and piping to the new boiler and new gas line hookups. And again, the cost was $121,922, and these were budgeted in the 2026 city budget.
Thank you. Council? Ms. Budzinski?
Okay, I'd like to offer an approving on consent if there's no objection.
Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? All right, item number 11 will be on the consent agenda on April 20th, 2026. Item number 12, a request to waive the formal bidding process and award of contract to replace the temperature controls and building automation at the City Hall Annex from budgeted funds. Mr. Moore.
Back on October 6, 2025, a contract was awarded to Havel for replacement of building control systems at several city buildings. Funding for this program was made available through the EECBG grant, or Energy Efficiency and Conservative Block Grant. The city received $155,220 from the program, and $112,582 was being used for the program, leaving $42,638 in unspent funds. Program pricing is based on Omnia pricing. Havel is the current contractor, and the cost for this is $43,312, of which 98.4% of the cost is recoverable through the EECBG grant.
Thank you. Council? Mr. McCullough?
I'd be happy to offer an approving on consent if you would say EEGBC. I'm just messing. I do it all the time. Great work. And anybody that doesn't know, it also is huge for saving energy and keeping a good maintenance check on our all of our HVAC.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Anything from the audience? Okay, item number 12 will be on the consent agenda on April 20th, 2026.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to engineering. Item number 13, award of contract for the 2026 sidewalk and pavement replacement program for water main breaks. This is contract 26-F. Good evening, Mr. Zlinsick.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Council. I just wanted to go over the water main break contract. Engineering Department's tasked with fixing those breaks that happen from mid-October through March, and sometimes there's a few ancillary ones that happen that we add on. But typically, we put these packages together, go out for bids for it's a year contract with a year extension if it's satisfied. We had 2 bids taken back on March 24th on Mitten. The 2 bidders were Joe Rotundo Construction and Great Lakes Contracting. Joe Rotundo came in at $284, $583.52 as with the bidder's preference. And Great Lakes Contracting came in at $434, $176.02. Both these contractors have done the project in the past. We're recommending to go to Joe Rotundo Construction. the amount of $284,583.52 from our budgeted funds, and look forward to having them fix our repairs in 2 phases. The first phase usually happens from June to early July. Then we come back in the fall before leaf season starts and get phase 2 done with any water main breaks that happen from basically April to end of September. So with any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Thank you. Council?
Madam Chair?
Ms. Tashnik?
Thank you. Typically, if I saw a bid with such disparity in pricing, I'd be thinking it was a little suspect, but knowing the work that the Rotundo Construction Company does and being a great Livonia company, I understand why they came in with such a great bid, and I appreciate that a lot. So I'd be happy to offer an approving on consent.
Thank you. Anything else from council? Anything from the audience on this one? Or did you have something?
I do have a question. Now, so this contract will go through 27?
Again, it's through, for this year, for 2026, they will have to write us a letter to renew if they want to keep the contract prices, and it's based on satisfactory work. So,
Okay.
in the contract,
That was built into this bid?
yeah, in the contract, it says allow for 1-year extension if available.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it. Thanks.
Thank you. Anything from the audience? Okay, item number 13 will be on the consent agenda on April 20th, 2026. Item number 14, this is a award of contract for the Myrna Avenue water main replacement. It's from Hubbard Road to Merriman Road. Mr. Zlinczyk.
Yes, we went out for bids on this project. It was delayed from last year's paving program for asphalt. So we're going to go ahead and get the water main fixed from 1955. So we've got 71 years out of this. 8-inch water main cast iron. So we're looking to replace 2,800 lineal feet, just over a half mile of water main. We had several bidders. They ranged from $689,000 to $1,256,800. The low bidder is Brico Excavating Company. I've worked with these people in the past. We are recommending them as the low bidder in the amount of $689,000 from budgeted funds. We look forward to having them start hopefully in May and completed by early end of July for the road to be paved for the residents in August before school starts mid-September. So with that, we're offering a recommendation for Brico Excavating from Oak Park, Michigan, and worked with them in the past, and look forward to having that water main replaced for those residents and their road redone.
Thank you. Ms. McDonald?
I was wondering if we could put this on regular and approving, please, for the dollar amount.
Okay. Anything else from council? Okay, anything from the audience? Okay, this will be on the regular agenda on April 20th, 2026. And moving on to City Council. Item number 15, this is a request for proclamation to designate April as Autism and Hashimoto's Thyroiditis Disease Awareness Month in order to bring civic awareness to these topics and foster better understanding within the community. Mr. Brockway.
Yes, these were two items that were brought up by a few residents, and we're just asking to make a proclamation in order to kind of spread awareness on these two different topics. I do know that we do have a resident that's here to discuss it. If possible, I'd like to, if I can preemptively request that they have an extended 1 minute to the time to a 3 minute, if everyone's on board with that.
Do you either take a vote or stay safely, show 7?
Yeah.
Do it? Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, City Council. All of you are probably wondering, what is Hashimoto's disease? Hashimoto's disease is a chronic autoimmune condition which the immune system attacks the thyroid gland, causing inflammation and leading to an underactive thyroid. It was first discovered in 1912 by Hirohiro, excuse me for the name mispronunciation, Hashimoto, in a Japanese surgeon and physician. There was also an infamous doctor and physician named Dr. Joel Hamburger, very well-renowned endocrinologist, who, when my mom was a little girl, visited him when she had stage 1 of Hashimoto's disease. He is very well known throughout Wayne State University. He also wrote books and journals, which obtains knowledge of what we know with Hashimoto's disease up to today. Symptoms of Hashimoto's disease include fatigue, weight gain, cold sensitivity, dry skin, plus itchy skin as well, hair loss, aging, loss of saliva, teeth cracking, which is caused by lack of saliva. The uvula also is enlarged, which can also cause choking. Your voice, it also gets very you also lose your voice as well. Sores in mouth, dry eyes, which causes possible blindness as well. Phantom smells and taste, brain fog, insomnia, pain in muscles, joints, shoulders, arms, and fingers, which mocks as carpal tunnel syndrome, and it can even cause infertility and miscarriages. The numbers of people who are affected by Hashimoto's disease. Globally, it is estimated to be between 5 to 10% of the population, and estimated in the U.S. alone, 14 million Americans are diagnosed, 7 to 10 times more likely to be women than men, and estimated to be 3.5 per 1,000 people that are women every year, as well as 0.8 per 1,000 people that are men every year. And people well known besides my mom, I also want to dedicate to Paula Nacke, as well as my friend Jessica Toth, who lives in Westland, Mary Grace, a friend of mine who just at the border of Livonia, and even a good friend of mine on City Council, Elaine McDowell, who also has Hashimoto's disease as well. And a cure, well, rather not a cure, but a treatment. Only one treatment was created.
You can finish.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Only one treatment so far has been created in the 1930s, which ended up in the pharmaceutical market in the 1950s. It is known as levofloxacin, aka Synthroid, which if you miss 3 days once you've taken Synthroid, you can end up in a coma, which means you can never wake up. And you're probably wondering why I am bringing this up, because Hashimoto's disease does not get the attention it deserves. And every endocrinologist that my mom and I have visited, as far as making appointments, they all say the same thing. There is not enough funding and there is not enough attention. What I hope to gain from this is simply spreading awareness. Once when we spread awareness, it could lead to funding. And funding could lead to more people, possibly more scientists and more doctors, leading up to endocrinology. More endocrinologists lead to more possible research. More possible research leading up to more possible treatments or cures, which would lead to less suffering amongst the victims of Hashimoto's, as well as the loved ones who have to watch while they helplessly can't do anything. And the point is, together we can spread awareness, because this should be the country with the most advanced medicine in the world. There are countries such as Italy and Japan and China who have us beat in this research, and I know this country can do better. And one thing I am glad about this community, they are compassionate and they are caring. That's one of the things I'm proud about Livonia, because I know every month they've spread awareness with other cancers and diseases, and I am proud of that. And I know that the Livonia City Council, as well as the City of Livonia, will stand by me to help spread awareness, which will bring us closer, not just into the City of Livonia, but everywhere, in the U.S., everywhere in the U.S. Simply just spread awareness and hopefully accomplishing our goal. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for putting this on the agenda. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Did you give a motion?
Can I give one if I put it on the agenda? Okay. I'd like to offer.
You did. I don't think you did.
I didn't. No, I don't think. I'd like to offer an approving on consent.
There you go. Anything else from council? Mr. McCullough?
I am so proud of you. Honestly, that takes a lot of courage. And you did so well to take this initiative as we started coming to council. Honestly, another round of applause. I love you, man.
Good job, Noah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This will be on the consent agenda on April 20th, 2026. We're about to go to audience communication if you want to come up. Yep, okay. No, come on up. We'll get to audience communication, and if you did not speak at the first audience communication, you're more than welcome to come down. You will have 3 minutes. Thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
I'm nervous. I don't usually.
Don't be nervous.
Laura Wojcik, 15351 Brookfield. We live together with my dad and with his dad and brother. I want to say, Noah Joseph, no Joe, your dad and I faced failure for 10 years for you. Not aware then Hashimoto's was behind our struggle, infertility. The doctors did a CBC with a 3 test and then did not listen to me when I asked him to draw the thyroid panel, much more extensive. During labor, Noah's heart was spiking, putting him and I in a risk of losing him in an emergency C-section again. Guess what? Hashimoto's causes miscarriage and stillbirth. Again, not known. To me anyway. Nearly everyone has heard of Graves' disease, ironically the opposite of Hashimoto's. With all seriousness, do you believe some people think Hashimoto's is a choice on a Japanese restaurant menu? With this said, listening to the endocrinologist's frustration from lack of awareness, funding, and research, and one medication choice available for the 300 plus symptoms, Noah's quest began. No, Joe, my son, my rock, from my damaged thyroid to your platinum heart, thank you for all the time, research, and enthusiasm you have spent with this disease, Hashimoto's. Remember, my friend, I will always be in the caves of Altamira. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't hear his speech, and he didn't hear mine, so I'm just as floored. Thank you.
Good evening, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. I feel a lot of emotion for those 2 people. I appreciate it. Jerry Karasinski, 1948 Bainbridge. One thing that came up earlier in the council meeting was a discussion about the agendas for the Housing Commission. It was pointed out by Councilmember Persicone that there's 2 websites for Housing Commission. This seems to be an interesting quandary that most residents are looking at one site for agendas, but the agenda's on a separate site. Perhaps the council would consider standardizing that for the city administration so that people would know that they could find it in the one site. That doesn't mean necessarily that Housing Commission couldn't still provide it on their other site, but I think that might be a point to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the audience? Council? Ms. Persicone?
Thank you. Mr. Karasinski, just to address there, I didn't mean 2 Livonia Housing Commission websites. I mean, if you go, and I just turned off my computer, but there, it's hard to get to it through livonia.gov. There is a separate website.
Okay.
So I will personally look for it, and I'm going to post it on my social media pages, and I'll bring it to the next meeting.
Okay.
It's hard to find. It is hard to find on livonia.gov, but if you go to the Livonia Housing Commission website, they're all right there. We are separate from the city. The Housing Commission is a separate entity from the city of Livonia, so they're run separately. That's why they're their own website. So I'll give you that. They're always posted. They've been posted, and if you go to the right website, you'll find it.
Through the president, perhaps the city then should have a link that points to their site.
There is a link.
But something that would
we're
be
not gonna argue
easy
over this,
for a
but we will look
Pollock
into
like me
this.
to find. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please.
Denise Mike. I've been to a couple Housing Commission meetings, and we've asked for these items, and nobody Nobody has said anything about a separate website or anything. They have been the least accommodating group of people. And I don't think that the information for all the budgeting and everything, I don't know if that was even posted. I'm going to go try to find that other website, but the link should be on the livonia.gov, and you can link to that. There's a lot of things that I work with that they're covered by other websites, but they have the link right there within it. So I don't know why we can't do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from the audience? Anything from council?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you. Martha, remember how